Hey everybody, Mike Pagoda here, Ropeadope recording artist. This is the second video in the Double Slide 101 series, where I'm going to kind of be showing you how to play double slide guitar. And last week, I just kind of gave you an introduction to, just kind of show you what it's all about, the different kind of chords we can get and stuff like that. Basically a demo, and kind of explaining what double slide is. This week, we're actually going to begin, the whole sort of tutorial thing on how to actually play double slide. So this week it's all about basic blues rhythm playing and tortures, major sixth chords, and dominant seventh chords. Alright, so let's check it out. Alright, okay, so tortures and dominant 7 chords, major 6 chords, and all that sort of stuff. So today, I just want to point out that I got a different guitar today. Last week you saw my Telly. This week I'm playing my Epiphone Flying V, and it's a little bit special. I've had some work done to it. I'll just shift it over so you guys can see. I've got some special pickups on here. I got a DiMarzio PAF in the neck and a Seymour Duncan in the bridge. And the nice thing about this guitar is, you see, look at these little toggle switches right here. It's coil tapped, meaning I can switch from a single coil Fender sound to like a Gibson humbucker sound. It's a really nice sounding guitar. So it's my other main electric I use aside from my Telly. So, anyways, getting back to things. Just running through my Blues Junior as always. Nice clean tone. A little bit of reverb. All you need. So yeah, let's start here. G's a good key to do this in. So I'm going to show you these chords first. And then I'll show you what they kind of like mean for like tortures and blues rhythm playing and stuff like that. And also, like, tortures are also found in rock and roll. I mean, the real main difference between blues and rock and roll is that you kind of swing blues. See, there's a single torture, right? Whereas in rock and roll, you just kind of play it straight. Right, and that whole thing. There's all that business going on. And that's kind of the main difference between the two, really. Like rock and roll is basically blues kind of played straight and split up. And we'll get into palm muting as well. You gotta learn how to be able to palm mute to play rhythm. It's like essential. I'll show you that a little bit later. But these chords, so the first chord I'm going to show you, right? We all know that putting one slide down across like all the strings on one fret gets a chord. So I'm tuned to open E. The notes for that tuning are from the 6th string to the 1st string are E, B, E, G sharp, B, E. So that means you got to tune up from standard tuning to get to open E. And if you don't have the right gauge of strings, you need some pretty heavy strings. Your strings are going to break and they're going to snap. So what you might want to think about doing is putting some heavier strings if you're playing slide, kind of like an exclusive thing. And on my nut here, if you'll notice, I've got a string raiser, okay? So that I bought and I put on the neck, and that raises the action. You also got to raise the action up on the bridge as well. So that's a little bit about setup for playing slide. But these chords, so if I lay my big slide across all the strings on the 3rd fret, I get me a G major chord. Okay? To get a G6, a G major 6th, you'll see it abbreviated as G6 in like notation and stuff. You're going to take your thumb, okay, your thumb slide, and you're going to put it 2 frets up, 1, 2, on the 5th string. And what you want to do is, especially when you're doing these kinds of chords, you've got to learn to be able to angle your thumb, okay? So I'm angling my thumb right now so that it's not hitting this bottom 6th string. Okay? And if I strum all the strings 6 to 1, that's a G6. Okay? So that's a G6. If I move this thumb slide 3 frets up from my main slide, and again I'm angling, I'm going to get a G dominant 7th, or just in jazz blues terms, a G7. This is kind of the main chords we hear in blues, this whole thing. Okay? Right? So, let's review that. So 2 frets up from your main slide on your 5th string, right? Listen your thumb down. You're going to get a G6, right? And another fret up, 3 frets up, you get a G7, okay? Major 6 and major 7. Now, this note here, that note is also the same as this note. So now what we can do to voice the chord a little bit differently is we can take the 6th or the 7th note, right, in the scale, like in your G major scale, and in dominant 7th chords, the reason why they're called dominant 7th chords is that the 7th is flatted. This is not a major 7th chord like in a G major scale, right, where you would have right. This is not. It's not an F sharp. It's an F. Okay, so it's a flat 7. That's what makes it dominant. Right, and this is a major 6 as opposed to a minor 6 in terms of intervals. This is all theory stuff. You can look this up online. But so in this voicing, we've got the 6 or the 7th, depending on which chord you're playing, on the bottom of the chord. But now, if we take our thumb slide and we put it all the way up top on the 2nd string, you can put it on top of the chord as opposed to on the bottom, right? There's another G. See, there's the G7. So it kind of gives you a higher sound as opposed to a lower sound. Okay? So, tortures. And what do I mean by tortures? Okay. Tortures is this whole thing. It's that really simple blues rhythm playing that you hear all the time. That 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. This is a single torture. So what am I doing real slow? 2 strokes for a downstroke or an upstroke. Depending on which way you pick, you're going to get a different sound. I prefer a little bit of a downstroke because it's easier on me, but if you upstroke, you can get a stronger sound. So, you can go 1, 2, and then put your thumb down on that major 6. But you can also do 2 strokes, so you can get this. What did I do there? That's called a double torture. So that's when we start taking this major 6, this dominant 7, right? We start combining them with the double tortures. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? There's the dominant 7. So back to the major 6. Okay, so if you're doing blues, right now we're on the 1 chord, right? The root home. 4 chord. I'm going to stop there for a second. Okay? So now I'm on the 4 chord of my blues in G. 4, the key of G is C. If you don't know 1, 4, 5, and you don't know your number system and what that means in terms of chord, when you're trying to play blues, you need to learn it, because it's really important. Okay? So, for my 4 chord, for my C, big slide is on the 8th fret, right? And of course, to get my major 6 and my tortures, I put my thumb slide angling, and of course that it doesn't hit this note. Right? Back to the 1, 5 chord, 4, and go to a D7, your 5, to kind of lead it into the next thing. What's that? Strum that, yeah, like this. Right, just do some alternate picking back and forth on your G7. Do it here. Turnaround. So why don't I show you this? So we're talking about rhythm playing too. So take your G7, move it down to a major 6, then move your thumb again another fret down, so it's 1 fret up from your main slide, and then just play your 1 slide. So let's do that. So you can do it up here. You can also alternate it. Okay? Alright? And you notice I did something a little bit different when I went to that 5-4. Instead of doing, I went 1, 2. So you can take all this, right, and you can do variations on your rhythm playing. Okay? So that's one way of looking at it. If we were doing a slow blues, okay, let's get out of a shuffle for a second. If we were doing a slow blues, and let's say we decide to do it in the key of B. Okay? So, this is actually kind of good because I get to show you the tortures on the open E chord. So here's B, key of B. I was doing a slow blues, right? You can go like this. Okay? Up to a high E on the 12th fret, right? 3 frets up for your thumb slide to get your E7. And here's something I can do. 1, 2. Now I have a choice here at this point. I could go 1, 2, down a half step to get a B flat 7, or I can go up a half step to a C7. Now let's go down to this low sort of E shape. Okay. So all I'm going to do is take my thumb slide, angle it so that it's on the 2nd fret, 5th string. Or I could have gone like this, right? At higher voicing. Down to the F7. Or up here if you like. 5 chord with that dominant 7 that I was showing you. So this is kind of basic blues rhythm playing now. Now another thing I want to show for these major 6 chords, if you kind of want to do like a pop tune kind of thing, okay, and you want to kind of take what I'm showing you, it's kind of like a little bit like a Stand By Me feel, okay. So this is a one sort of a 1 6 4 5 thing going on. So in A, right, just play an A major. Now this is kind of getting a little bit ahead, because basically this major 6th chord is one of the voicings to get your minor chords as well. Because I'm playing it in A6, or you can also think of this as, if I don't play this bottom note, as F sharp minor 7. So watch. You can have the 7th in there. Hammer onto this. I can do it up here. So you're going to take your, if we're just looking at this, your 5th fret, your 2nd string, you're going to hammer on, okay, to your 7th fret on your 2nd string, and you're going to play the top string, your 1st string on the 5th fret. So it's a great one. So hammer on to that note, right to that major 6. So instead of bum ba, it's bum bum. Pull the dominant if you want. Basically, just kind of change it to a more poppy feel. Okay. Another thing I did there, you can hammer on to your dominant 7ths. Now your E7 here, you can do it here. You can do it anywhere. You can do it up high. You don't have to just do. You can go. Try that. It's a triplet feel. Right? So there's some ideas for you. I'm kind of throwing in showing you kind of an introduction to hammer-ons. Well, you know, it's all about feel here. Okay, so to review, right, we've got our major 6 chords. There's A6, there's A7, your 4 chord on your D, D6, D7, right, E6, E7. And usually in blues we go back to our 5 chord to kind of lead us back in on a nice dominant 7. Remember, you've got your voicing down here or up here. Same with your major 6 chords. Okay. You can do that poppy feel. You can do the blues feel. You can do that rock and roll feel. Right. That. take that 7th shape and just move it chromatically, right? Hitting your E7, your E flat 7, your D7, right? Whatever your 5 and 4 chords are, right? Whatever key you're in. If I was in C, and I was on the 5 chord on G, or I can do it up here, right? That's all there is to it, okay? So it's about just kind of adapting this kind of torture, this kind of rhythm playing to a feel of a song. And you can, you know, as long as you got the groove and you can do the different things I showed you, you're good. I want to point out that it's essential when you're playing rhythm to palm mute, okay? If I'm just doing things open, I can start to get in the way of my singer, okay? Whoever's singing, whether it's me or somebody else. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your palm, you're going to take the side of your palm, okay, this bit here, and you're going to mute the strings a little bit. Just put it down gently, and you're going to pick. And the less of your hand you have on, the more sound you get. You got to develop over time, this palm mute, in order to play rhythm properly, in a blues and a rock and roll context, I guess. Jazz, it gets a bit harder, because in jazz, the chords tend to not be so big, right? Right, like in blues and rock and roll, we've got this nice big open chords for the voices. And jazz, they tend to kind of be a little bit smaller and tighter for the double slide. So, there's different things you have to do to approach rhythm in jazz playing, and that's just kind of something I'm starting. I'm not really that great at jazz, but it's something I'm exploring with the double slide. But at the end of this series, I'll actually be showing you basic 2-5-1 jazz progression, and also now we can take these 7th chords, right, and we can substitute diminished chords for these dominant 7th chords. That's a little bit advanced. That's going to be at the very end. That's kind of a flash forward to what we're going to get up to, okay? So just have a look at this video. If you have any questions, please comment below, and I will do my best to answer them, okay? Take care. Okay, so there you have it. So we just covered, you know, just basic tortures, that boom, 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 that kind of thing. You know, the single tortures, the double tortures. And also, you know, some rhythms I was showing you with major 6th and dominant 7th chords, and the voicings for those. Next week, we get to cover minor chords. There's tons of voicings for minor chords. And we're going to start looking at extensions just a little bit with minor 7th and major 7th chords. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Also, check down below on your screen, because this week, my album Parliament is going to be streaming on Bandcamp, so the link to my Bandcamp site is there, and the pre-sale I think is going to be up pretty soon too. So check that out, and you can also go to www.mikenagoda.com for more details. So check it out, have fun, and I'll see you guys next week.